Another thrill is here! Today I'm theorizing what coaster Six Flags St. Louis could get next. I have several possibilities and we'll be starting with what is probably most likely to happen, and then what I would want to get the most, but will probably never happen due to Six Flags never investing major coasters in this park. So speaking of the most profitable, we have a 40 free spin. I think there is a 60% chance of this being our next coaster. As much as I don't want this, I think it's the most probable. We are rumored to be getting it in 2017, and then Great America got it instead of us, which kind of sucks since we got screwed over with a tiny flat ride like we always do, but at least we got something. I think a free spin would be a decent fit for the park, even if it's not what I really want. A 40 free spin would not be a terrible fit for this park, and I'll probably grow to like it over time, and I would honestly just be happy getting any new coaster. I honestly thought 2021 would be our year since it's the 50th anniversary, but that didn't happen due to obviously COVID-19. This could be themed to Wonder Woman due to us already having Batman and Joker themed rides like they did with Six Flags Mexico. They could put this in the old go-kart location or the old Tidal spot. But on a more positive note, next up I think with a 25% chance of our next coaster is an RMC Raptor. This is what I personally want the most since we need an RMC coaster and this would finally give us that standout coaster. I would absolutely love for this park to get one, and it would be an excellent 10th coaster for the park's lineup. I've heard amazing things about Wonder Woman, Golden Lasso, and Railblazer, hearing they're incredibly intense and have some of the craziest ejector airtime out there. There have been a few concepts of it fitting perfectly in the old Tidal spot, as shown by this fan-made concept by Airboss. While the probability isn't too high, it isn't insanely low either. This would easily be the best coaster at our park and would give us a good top 3 for the park. The next concept, which I think has a 10% chance of happening, but this chance could rise or lower with time. I think an S&S Axis coaster would be an even better option than the S&S Free Spin. If this model takes off, it could be an amazing ride and quite possibly the best in the park. Judging from the POV from the S&S factory, this looks like it could be an interesting model with some insane and interesting elements. There's not much to talk about with this one, as no one has really been able to ride the true version of this awesome looking model. And finally, with a 5% chance of happening is something I do not want to happen, which is an RMC conversion of Boss. This would honestly be very sad if it happened. Boss is a great ride that pulls some fun laterals and has some amazing speed in a great setting. An RMC version could take away that feeling of flying through the woods on an old wooden coaster. It's an experience that you can't find on many other coasters. CCI coasters are some of the best wooden coasters out there, and I would never want Boss to get it. It should keep Boss running in its current state as long as possible. And finally, with almost no chance of happening, is something like a hyper coaster. I would love something like this, but I know Six Flags would never invest a lot of money into a massive hyper coaster. Six Flags doesn't want to spend $20 to $25 million on a massive hyper for a park that probably wouldn't get them a return on their investment. There was once a rumor that we were supposed to get Goliath at Over Georgia instead of them, which is disappointing, but in my opinion, Over Georgia deserves it more anyway. This was my opinion on what could come to Six Flags St. Louis next. I hope you all enjoyed the video, and please subscribe, everybody!